everybody for coming to this intimate event with Wilko Johnson and John Robb. This event is really to celebrate the inaugural Wilko Johnson Writing Award. And for those of you who had the great pleasure of being here yesterday to hear Wilko speak, we know a little bit more about his previous professional background as a teacher, and his love of books, his love of literature, his love of poetry. I'm an ex-teacher myself, actually, so this is for our competition winners, for George, for Jack, and for Ryan. This is like school assembly, but with one hell of a lineup, so it's fantastic. We had an idea to encourage new writers, new, young, ambitious, and inspirational writers who wanted to take part in a competition to have the chance to have their winning piece published and to really think about some of the debates that we've been having here over the past couple of days. So first of all, just to say thank you very much to our supporters and our sponsors. So Bloomsbury Academic and 33 1/3 series have donated our prizes as a series of books for each of the winners, and then the winner has also won the full set of the 33 1/3 series. For those people who don't know that, that's a series of books on seminal albums. There are, in fact, Ryan, 88 of them to take. It's a brilliant prize. It'll be shipped out to you directly, so don't panic. It's a brilliant prize. Thank you also to Rock's Back Pages, because the winner's prize will be published in Rock's Back Pages. So it's a fantastic opportunity. We had some tremendous entries. I'll say a little bit more about that when we come to announce the winners and do the little presentation. But I'm going to hand over to John and to Wilko, who are going to talk a little bit more about the love of books, writing and literature. Thanks very much.
All right, Wilko, here we are again. And this time we're going to talk about books. I mean, everyone, obviously you're famous for the guitar style, integrated guitar style, Dr. Feelgood, really important my generation. We went through all that yesterday, but not so famous for your love of books, actually.
Well, I'm a compulsive reader. I took a degree in English in the 60s, and I was for a short time, in fact, an English teacher. Yeah, I read compulsively all the time. I didn't sleep last night. I was actually reading a history of the Battle of Agincourt. And then yesterday I was reading some Shakespeare and some William Burroughs. And the day before that, some rubbishy science fiction.
So you just like to read anything, there's no parameters?
Oh, I mean, I'll go berserk if I'm going to read. I'll read a bus ticket.
Mate, hopefully the winners have written more than bus tickets, but let's see. So, you say you read anything, or is anything you specifically really like to read? Is it like histories, or beat writers, or?
Well, no, I think really I do like literature. And the day before that, I was reading Icelandic poetry.
In Icelandic, or was it?
Yeah.
Wow.
Marva het ouden vestfyrte at kuni och feilikin.
Wow. I never thought over this weekend we could get an answer in Icelandic. Yeah. Was that, so did you actually understand what it meant, or did it just the sound of the words?
When I actually in my final year at university, when you get these optional papers to take, and most people plump for things like modern literature or American literature, and one of the choices was Old Icelandic, and I thought, the thing is, you can do all right if you do the modern literature and things like that, because it's all stuff that you know. I thought, never ever will I get, you know, forced to learn a bit of Icelandic? And so I opted for that, and I was the only one in my year. So every Thursday I would go in and sit with Mr. Frankis, and we would read sagas. And well, it's been a great thing in my life. It's just a kind of sideline, you know.
I've read those sagas, but not Icelandic. I'm quite impressed by this. Yeah. So did you bring much of this to the rock and roll at all?
Well, like these Vikings, you know, they probably can handle a flying V or two. But I think, you know, probably what's more relevant to what we're talking about here is critical writing, and writing about music. I think, in this case, the thing for a writer to do is to be able to convey to other listeners to music, to be able to convey something about music to them. Whether it's useful for music, I it's quite early on in my experience as a musician. In the first flush of success, it's nice reading how great you are and things like that. You have to realise there's going to come a point when they're not going to be saying that, and then I mean you feel very, very pleased. But they say one word against you, and it pricks your ego, and you know it's infuriating. I can remember a few years ago talking once with Van Morrison, and the name of a journalist came up, and he freaked, man. And it was about something. This guy had said a bad thing about him in 1965 or something. And it obviously still rankled. And so, I mean, you can get as big and powerful as Van Morrison and still be upset by some. So generally, I don't read that. You see.
Do you actually read much rock and roll writing? Do you read rock books, rock biogs?
To an extent, yeah. If it's about Bob Dylan, I will. Yeah.
So if you're a fan of the musician or a fan of the writer?
Yeah. But like the time, I read lots of stuff.
I'm actually quite intrigued what you were like as an English teacher. Were you a patient teacher?
Actually, we played a gig on Canby Island 3 or 4 weeks ago. And I was leaving the gig afterwards, and 2 middle-aged ladies came up and said, "You used to teach us." And I said, "Oh, well, really?" And they said, they said yes. And then one of them reminded me of a lesson that I'd given then. It was about you know, haiku, these 17 syllables, very difficult. And they reminded me of this lesson, and this haiku that I'd composed with this class, and they remembered it. And I mean, that was a kick. You know, 30 years later, you know, and so I must have been doing something right.
So with all this reading, and you know, you've read a lot of books, this is in-depth reading, you didn't bring lots of it to Dr. Feelgood. Again, the beauty of Dr. Feelgood was the simplicity of it all. Was it almost like a rock and roll haiku?
I think writing in terms of writing songs it's a different thing from writing books or writing criticism. You know, I think a really good rock and roll song, for instance, should be like a series of slogans. You know, because it's coming at you, blam, blam, blam. And you've got to get these things straight away because you're on to the next. It's a different way of writing, like, and it's impossible to compare, really.
So the lyrics are dictated by the music in a way.
Oh yeah.
Did you ever get tempted to write a more florid kind of piece to bring in to lead a singer? Yeah.
But you know, you just have to watch it. You know, like you might have some, you know, wonderful poetic imagery and things like that, but you've got to get in the end. You've got to get it down to that thing, that beat, you know. And it's a different thing from, for instance, writing a poem or or some serious prose or something. It's just a different thing.
Almost more of a discipline in a way.
Yeah, that's a good word.
Yeah.
You know, it's got to be moronic.
Yeah. Okay, so thanks for that, Wilko. And we're ready for the award. So Wilko Johnson.
Thanks ever such a lot, Wilko, for that. Thanks, John, for that. It's just a real privilege to have you here for the weekend. Thank you so much. It's a real privilege, I know, for our audience here to be in such an intimate setting for you, with you, for this award. And also particularly special for our prize winners, Wilko. And we're just delighted that this time next year we'll be giving the second Wilko Johnson Writers Award. This time in 10 years we sincerely hope we're giving the 10th or 11th Wilko Johnson Writers Award. Thanks so much for putting your name to this. It's an absolute honour for everybody at Louder Than Words to have you on board in that way. Terrific, thank you.
Thank you.
Mel, if that's okay, we'd just like a few photos for our award winners. The challenge that they had was 350 words to sum up, to contemplate, to reflect upon, and propose the future of rock writing. So these are 3 star writers, 3 future journalists, I'm sure, who are joining us here this, I think, afternoon now, to receive their award. And the first person I'd like to invite up onto the stage is George Wilde, who came third. Thanks, George.
Magnificent prize. You told me earlier on what it was, but yeah, well, good luck to you.
Cheers,
and don't say bad things about me.
No.
Great, thank you, George. And the second prize winner is Jack Kennedy. Well done, Jack.
Good luck, mate.
And the first prize winner, and this is just to give them a flavour of what's to come. There's some heavyweight stuff here, Ryan. Congratulations to all of them, but special congratulations to Ryan Carse, who I know is already an ambitious young writer. You can follow him on his blog, you can follow him on his website. He's a really keen writer. Ryan, congratulations. Here's a flavour of what's to come. I'm just going to say a few words of thanks.
I really wish I could say thank you in Icelandic, but unfortunately I can't. I mean, like, as soon as this composition became available to me, I was like, I had to enter it, I really sink my teeth into it, because I genuinely do believe as long as there is good music, there should be good music writing to accompany that. And that's something that will just go on years and years before after we're all gone, because genuinely, music's got to be around forever, man. I mean, I know your legacy will live forever completely, and hopefully some of the writers in this room, there's a lot of talent in this room, and hopefully we can be writing some good things someday. Yeah, thank you very much.
Just ask if anybody has got a question for Wilko or John, or indeed for, good notes now, but for George or for Jack or for Ryan before we break.
I've actually got one question.
Yeah.
Wilko, Icelandic's got 4 genders. What is the 4th gender?
I didn't know that.
It's got German's got 3, that's it's got 4.
German's got 3, I don't know. Germans, I know that the whole issue of gender, I know that the German for a little girl is in fact neuter, isn't it?
Oh, is it?
That's
Yeah.
how much,
Yeah, maybe that's the fourth gender in Iceland.
yeah. What the Icelanders are up to, we don't know.
It was just my chance to finally find out what I didn't. So if anybody's got any book questions for Wilko, that's it, yeah. Well, thanks for coming down with the awards, and thanks to the young writers. And thanks again to Wilko.
The prize winners, and I know there's family members in here as well, would just like to come up and we'll do a few photos, Mel.
Yeah.
And then Wilko's going to go upstairs kindly with John and the winners, just have a chat up in the Tempest Bar. But thanks ever such a lot. It's a great honour to have our prize winners. It's a special honour for us to have you, Wilko. Terrific. Thanks very much.